Hello followers and welcome back to my Minecraft tutorial. This is episode 65 and in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at tripwire and dispensers. So before we really get into today's main episode, I just want to say that this is going to be kind of like a beginner's class in tripwires and dispensers. There's a lot more that you can do with them than what I'm going to be showing today. But I was looking around and I was going to show a practical example of the tripwire, but that design turns out that it doesn't work anymore. Now, tripwires are used typically in more advanced builds, and the only sort of example that I can think of is an Enderman farm or an Iron Golem farm. Now, we don't have the resources to do that, and that isn't very basic at all to do, so this might seem quite run down, but that is what we're going to be doing for today. And the dispensers, I have a practical example. We're actually going to build a mini armory station using features that were added in 1.5 that can make armor equipable from dispensers now. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at are the tripwire hooks, and I guess we should show how to craft them now. So it's just a piece of iron, a stick, and then a wooden plank. It doesn't matter which plank, and you get 2 tripwire hooks. I already have 2 here, and you can right click and you place them down, and you can just left click with anything and you'll get them back. This is what they look like. People often use these for coat hooks because they kind of look like what you would put a coat on, so you might see that in custom maps. You can't place them on the top of a block or underneath a block. They can only go on the sides, but they do have the option of going on all 4 sides, which is pretty good actually. Typical uses of this, as I say, include more advanced mob traps. Other uses that I have seen them in is minecart systems, which we have not got to yet, but minecarts will be coming down the line fairly soon, and we'll probably run into these again. So tripwires at the moment don't function because we have the tripwires, but we have no tripwire hook. Sorry, we have the tripwire hooks, but we have actually no tripwire. And the tripwire in this game is string, so if you don't have any, go kill some spiders, or go into an abandoned mine shaft and you'll find plenty of string from cobwebs, and then you can actually make your own tripwires. Or if you're following along with the world, which if you want to, there will be a link down below, then you'll have some string in the chest at the cottage. And string, you can right click and place in the world. It's very hard to see, and you can kind of string it together, get it, and you can just left click with anything to break them, and you'll get them back, of course, as always. You can only sleep at night. Surely, yeah, I thought so. I was pretty close. So you can place them down on the ground and get them back with just using your fist or whatever it happens to be. But if you put them in between 2 tripwire hooks, as you can see here, we put 2 together, it kind of links up. Now this can be done for up to 40 blocks away, so you can have a really long tripwire if you want. I've just got a short demonstration, as you can see here. So if I put 1 down, it's not going to connect. There has to be string on every block in between the 2 tripwire hooks. Now, it doesn't have to have string on the block that the tripwire hook is on, as you can see like so. Tripwire hooks can also be placed off the ground. They don't have to be stuck to the ground like this. You can, instead of putting them above a block, you just put them on the side of the block above, and you need to right click, and as you can see the string is there, but it's barely visible. And if I do it again, as you can see, we have these. Now if I walk into them, this means that they're going to activate, and what happens when they activate? Well, that's up to you. It's entirely up to you. You can break the tripwires themselves by breaking the block above. The string will still stay in place. You have to manually take that down. So let me show you what happens here. So we have some redstone, so if I walk into the block, then you're going to see that the redstone dust turns on, and equally it powers all 3 sides and directly above. Does it power below? This is something I always forget to test. Does it power below? We can always find out. Let's just link it to there. Actually, yes, it does. It powers below. So you can power below or to any sides or on top of the block that the tripwire is sat on. So you've got some flexibility with where it powers. So you can walk through and this could trigger a trap or whatever it happens to be that this is hooked up to. I've seen door setups, I've seen setups where you can call a minecart, it could fire a dispenser of some kind actually off. There's all these different things that you could play with, and I'm going to leave this up to you to play around with these and see if you can come up with any good uses for them. So why don't we set up a very quick trap. Let's make a dispenser, and if you don't know how to make a dispenser, you're going to need a bow, a piece of redstone, and some cobble. You want the bow in the middle, the redstone below, and you need to surround the rest with cobble. And I'm going to do this for science, folks. So we're going to put a dispenser here, and we're going to put an arrow in it. So if I walk here, ow! The arrow has hit me, so you could fire a trap or whatever it happens to be when you cross the tripwire. Now, what happens if you see the tripwire and it's hooked up to a trap? How do you disable it? Well, breaking this will still cause it to activate first. So whatever trap it is, particularly if it's hooked up to TNT, you don't want that to happen. So how do you do that without? Well, you need to craft shears. And if you use shears by left clicking, it will break it and you will hear a different sound effect. I'm not sure if you can actually hear that, but you will actually have a different sound effect with breaking it with the shears so that the tripwire does not activate. Let me show you. We can use the redstone as an example. So if I break it by normal means, see, that kind of pulsed on there for a little minute. But if I use it with shears, should I say, the redstone doesn't turn on. So when taking on the jungle temples, it may be a good idea to bring some shears with you, just so that the trap doesn't go off in case it inadvertently hits you. But typically it doesn't, honestly, so I wouldn't worry too much. Now, if you want to avoid the trap altogether, then you can actually just walk by the block that the tripwire is on, and it will not activate. So anywhere on this block, but this block, if you're stood on that, it will activate. So this is why most people bury this in a wall somewhere, so that you can't actually stand there, which you could equally do because you can just run the string through. So that's basically everything about tripwires, in all honesty. They don't have too much more than that to them, really. But I'm going to leave this demo here if you want to play around with it. In fact, I'll leave the redstone on top, and we'll also leave the shears in a chest next to it. So that's how tripwires work, and how to disable them, and how and where they power, and some different examples that we talked about that these can be used in. And we will come back to these most certainly, and we will be using them in iron golem farms, we will use them in an enderman farm, we'll probably use these when we look at minecarts. But it's just a good idea to have a basic knowledge of the way that they work before you get into something super advanced. So at this point, let's move on and talk about dispensers. And dispensers, which we've already crafted, are a block. Get that string back. It's a block which kind of has the shocked face. It's the shocked block. If you remember, I called the dropper the happy block. This is the shocked block. So I'm going to need a lever at this point. So dispensers look and in many ways act like a dropper does. But as I explained in the dropper episode, there are certain things that a dispenser does that a dropper does not. For an example, firing an arrow. It doesn't drop it as an item. As we saw earlier, it fires it as an actual item. So this has led to many designs with people using arrows as a defensive trap. There's a pressure plate nearby and then they get bombarded with arrows. This can be useful to defend your base in multiplayer or even in single player from the mobs, but typically they don't deal a lot of damage, so it's not worth it. You could also fill it with potions of damage or potions of healing depending on which mob you want to kill, and that is another good way of actually taking out mobs. You can actually put potions in here. I don't want to waste one of my instant health potions, but if you put a splash potion in here and activate it, it will fire the potion, and then it will actually cause that status effect to whatever mobs are nearby. So this has led to buffing stations where you can put pressure plate down and it will always hit you, particularly in custom maps. So if you want to fire resist up and you just want to run past the pressure plate in order to do so, people have come up with those designs. Other things that dispensers fire include eggs, snowballs. In creative mode, the spawn egg to spawn a monster next to the dispenser, you can do that. And there's a couple of other things that I believe that they fire as well. Fireworks, fire charges that we looked at when we did the randomizer episode. All of those things, and I think there's a couple more. There will be a link down below to both the Tripwire and the dispenser pages if you want to know more. There's a couple of other items that it can fire, but the dropper drops. So what are we going to use this for? We're going to take advantage of a feature that this has, and that is that if I stand by the dispenser, say I put this in here, and then I activate the lever. Can I reach the lever from here? Well, I can always move it. We're going to stand on a pressure plate right here, and as you can see, puts my armor on. So we're going to create a sort of like a little mini armory in the cottage, so that if I happen to die somewhere, I can re-equip quickly, so that I don't have to run around trying to find gear. It's in the dispensers. I can just stand there. I'm going to respawn right next to it. So this is a really good idea if you have a base to have an armory nearby where you could equip items. And what items are we going to equip? Well, we are going to equip all 4 pieces of armor. We want a sword, we want a bow, and we want a pick, ideally. And that is 7 items. And that is about the maximum you can get for a very small amount of space. You could cram an 8th in there if you really want to, but that will require a bit more in terms of advanced redstone. So we're going to head over to the cottage now, and we're going to rig up these dispensers. I'm going to get some smooth stone because we're going to need 3 redstone repeaters if I don't already have any redstone repeaters lying around, and then we'll actually get to work on building this thing. It's a very, very simple thing. It won't take very long at all, and I think this is a good idea. I'm going to start introducing this into all my bases somewhere across all my worlds, both on and off camera, because the uses of it just make it so worth it, because I can guarantee that you're going to die sometime. It happens to even the best of us, and you can almost guarantee that when you die, you can't find where your stuff is. It always happens. Everything's everywhere, and you only have 5 minutes if you died nearby to get that stuff back. So, let me see. Do I have a repeater? I have 1. We're going to need a stone pressure plate. Do I have like a random chest? I think I do. Yeah, I just want to drop some random objects off. I guess those for right now we don't need. Okay, so we're going to need 2 more repeaters. So for that we're going to want 6 smooth stone. So let's put 6 in the furnace, and I think I have a piece of coal right here. Oh yes, I have a ton of coal. Been doing a lot of mining in this world off camera, trying to get supplies, mainly cobble for different tutorials. And that's going to bring us to next episode, which is going to be really exciting. I'll tell you a bit more about that at the end. So let's make the dispensers then. We're going to need 7 dispensers. So I really should have left them tripwire hooks over there. Well, we can always take them back later. So there's 2. That will give you a dropper without the bow in the middle. That's 3. So we're going to need, for 7, we're going to need 4 more bows. So you need 3 sticks per bow, so we need, I think, 12, right? Yeah, I think we need 12. There we are, we can just do that. Put the string here, and we got our 4 bows there, so that now I can craft up the remaining dispensers that we're going to need. And if you hold down your middle mouse button, the mouse wheel, then you'll get that effect right there. And I also think you can just click and drag like that. That's another way of doing it, but I just prefer for some reason doing it the other way. And there we go, 7 dispensers, which is just the perfect amount. So now let's get these dispensers. Has this finished yet? Yep. So I'm gonna put the armory right here next to my bed. We're gonna have to kind of carve this out a little bit. So we want it into the wall. We want 1 dispenser here, and if you place a dispenser below you, it will face upwards. And we want to put dispensers in all of these slots right here. So we want 1 here, 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 and whoops, and here. So this is going to give us our armory. Now shift and then right click your pressure plate, and that will put it on top of the bottom block. But now, if you were to try this out, you would find that the only blocks that are activated are the one below it and all three of these pressure plates. So what we're going to need to actually do in order to fix this is we're going to need repeaters and redstone dust. So this is why we built it into the wall. We're going to need a repeater, not there. We're going to need a repeater right there. And then we are going to want to have a block right here with some redstone on it. And then a block directly above it, and then it will power this. So we'll get all of these in. I'm just going to take this out while I put my repeaters in here. And I'm going to need to craft them actually. We only have one. I didn't craft the remaining ones. Whoops. Let me see. Smooth stone. I need redstone torches, don't I? I need 4 redstone torches. Well, I will just make all 4 of those sticks into redstone torches in this case. And let's split them in half. Piece of redstone in the middle. We only want 2 of those. And then we can put these in here. And we get 2 repeaters. So let's go down here. We're going to put these and these right there. And now we're just going to have to do a little bit of reshaping. At this point we want to carve this one out. And that one out, and we just want to put redstone dust in there. Now we can put our dispensers back, like so, by holding down shift and placing it in front of the redstone. And now we obviously want the one at the bottom back again, put the pressure plate on top, and now we can just fill the remaining parts in with cobble. And you're not forced to use it for this. You could use it for potions or whatever it is that you have. So let's give this a test run then. So I don't have an iron helm yet. I lost mine when I was mining. I wish that bug would go away, the whole trapdoor bug where you get stuck in it. That is really annoying. So let's give this thing a test run. So we want to put our helm in there, the chest plate, the legs, the boots, and the sword in here. And the bow in there, and our pick in here. And let's stand on it. And we didn't get the pick. Why did that not come out? Everything else has come out, right? Yeah, everything else but the pick. It worked earlier. I'm not sure why that worked. Why that didn't work. Yeah, I'm confused by that. Strange. It is pointing the right way, isn't it? Yeah. Is it because that there is a pressure plate above it? Yeah, I got it back now, but I don't want that there. Let me put this here. I just want to... There we go. It worked that time. How strange is that? I don't know what happened there. Let's give it a test run again. Seems that there was a bit of an oddity there. Not sure quite what was causing that. So let's put our instruments in each of these areas. So, oh no, we have no gear. There we are. Why does it not work for the pick? That's what I want to know. It sometimes works and then it sometimes doesn't. I'm not really sure about that for some reason. Honestly, I would probably skip that one. And if you were going to put one in, I would put one above it. That one seems to be quite inconsistent. It seems that if you put the pick in and then do that and it's on its own, it seems to give it you. I think there's a bit of a bug there. But that is the way that works. So now I would be ready to go out and fight whatever's lurking out here. Not much it seems. Am I on peaceful? Oh. Oh, that makes sense. I was wondering why I didn't see anything. The zombies are all coming towards me. Ooh, is there an enderman over there? I might grab him. So that is basically it. In terms of what I wanted to do with the dispensers and stuff. Man, it's lagging. They're all staring at the villager. They all want Alfred. Is he after me? I think they're all after the villager. Why is it lagging? I'm not sure. There's been a bunch of performance-based problems in 1.6 that have not been fixed. Now, see, those guys over there are after me. Look at this. Oh, there's an enemy over there, though. Are you after me? Get out of here. I don't know what is going on. These guys seem to be severely glitched. I noticed that I'm not the only one suffering, though, from these performance problems. I'm not sure what this is all about. It seems that the mobs seem to be heavily lagging. Oops, sorry, piggy. See, what is this all about? I really don't know what that is all about. But I think this is... it happened on the Minecraft Ultra Hardcore Season 12, if you watch any of those guys. They had mob problems similar to this, but they were going too fast instead of too slow. So there's clearly a problem here with the mobs, but this is not a snapshot test drive, so I'm going to quit bothering with that. So, yeah, that is basically all I can teach as regards tripwires and dispensers. We'll probably come back to them. Makes me wonder if that lag is what was causing the pick not to fire. Interesting stuff. I really don't know. We'll just have to see on that one, but that is all I can really teach for it. I would recommend putting some spare iron armor in here if you wanted to do that. That would be the best thing I can think of to put in there, and an iron sword, an iron pick, just so that you have a quick rebuff station. Get out of here. Oh no, 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 you don't. Get away from my villager. I don't want Alfred being turned back into his old ways. They should die eventually, hopefully. Except for the ones with the helms on. That's something that we'll have to think about. I didn't think of that before having a villager. Wow, it'd be great if I want lots of flesh. Quit staring at my villager. Dear oh dear. Look at all these villagers that have just swarmed this place. But anyway, that's going to be about it from me today, guys. Next episode, we are going to be ending Redstone with a bang, and we're going to be taking a look at TNT. So, look forward to that. I hope that you've enjoyed this basic tutorial on dispensers and tripwires. I hope you found it useful, and I hope that you liked our practical example that we came up with, even if it is not entirely working as intended. I'm not really sure about what's happening with this. Maybe if I put, say, my chest plate in here, does that still work? No, I was thinking it's the fact that it's dispensing an item rather than equipping something. I really don't know what causes that. For some reason it works once and then it doesn't work again, and I'm not really sure entirely what causes that. I would have to probably research into it more. You may be able to... We've got some wood around. Let's try it with a button. Before we end the episode, let's try it with a button. Yeah, that's not going to activate them all. I thought it might, but nope. So I would probably leave the bottom one out, and probably... What would I leave? The pick, maybe? I would probably leave that. Or you could put one above if you wanted to. I'm not really sure what's causing this. I will have to research into it more. If I come up with a fix, I'll let you know, but aside from that, there's not much I can really say. So that's going to be about it from me today, guys. So I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Actually, I'm going to take this back over. If you want to play around with anything that we've looked at today, the world download will be available in the description, and you can go and grab it from there and play around with stuff to your heart's content. So until next time, guys, see you later and have a good day.